talk to your friends and family and tell them you have headaches or neck pain. And you will be blown away with the amount of people that say, oh, I get headaches too, or I get neck pain too. I would say in my experience, it's probably going to be over half your family and friends that get consistent headaches and neck pain. And one thing that we want to know about headaches and neck pain is that it is very common in our current society, but it is not normal. It's only ever really normal to get a headache when you're dehydrated. So they're never normal, and today we're going to be doing about an hour lecture. We've got a lot of information to cover on headaches and supplements you can do, lifestyle things you can do. And then the second half, the second hour, is going to be hands-on. And we're going to be going over structural corrective things that you can do starting today to stop headaches and neck pain. Okay? I want to start with our mission. And the mission here is very clear. I'm not sure, some of you may be aware, some of you may not be aware. Who here, this is your first seminar you've been to here at the clinic? Welcome. Cliff, it's your first one as well? Welcome, sir. So everybody else are first, oh, my sister's in town from Florida with her husband and daughter. Very, very excited that they're here. It's their first seminar. So the individuals, I see a lot of familiar faces, have been to a seminar. You've probably heard me talk to this ad nauseum. We are in the middle of a public health crisis. And the public health crisis is a crisis of chronic disease. So in 1960, which was 64 years ago, does anybody want to guess how much money we spent on chronic disease in this country? $0. We spent $0 on chronic health issues in 1960. Today, we spend $4.5 trillion on healthcare, and 90% of that money is dedicated to chronic illness in our culture. That's over $4 trillion being spent on chronic health concerns. So a lot has changed in 60 years, especially some of you that are older. Here, you know people's body shape has changed, the food we're eating has changed, what we look at all day has changed. There's a lot has changed, and our mission here is to combat that. Now, where that really starts, in my opinion, is with kids. There is nothing more profitable for a pharmaceutical industry than a sick kid. I want you guys to think about that. If I have a sick child, I have a lifelong customer that they're going to need more and more, because medications don't really get to the root cause. I'm happy they're there, but they're there as a Band-Aid, and you're going to need more of that Band-Aid, because you build resistance over time. So to have healthier kids, which is our true mission, who has to be healthy first before the kids get healthy? Parents and adults and grandparents and aunts and uncles and friends. The two most important words in the English language are role model, and you guys are all role models to somebody, and most likely they're going to be younger than you. So I asked you to team up with us on this healing mission. If you have a place we can talk, I'll talk to 2 people, 1 people, anywhere that you think we can talk and spread this message of combating chronic disease. We'll speak anywhere. And I mean that. I really ask you to help us get this message out, to get people healthy, because right now the answer they're getting on the TV is a medication or some fast food or a processed food. That's what's being put into our body and our system right now. Now, we are committed to doing one of these seminars a month. The next one will be October 12th. This will be led by Dr. Ben. It'll be on healing the lower extremity. That will be hips, knees, ankles, and feet, and joints. On November 9th, I'm really excited about this. Dr. Sarah will be doing a women's health workshop. Women are different than men. I don't know if you guys know this. And when they do scientific studies, guess who the majority of the people they study are? Men. Typically, men are studied. Do you know why? It's easier. We don't have a cycle. Our cycle is a day cycle. A men's cycle is night and day. Women have something called the moon that you cycle with. So you have menstrual cycle. It's much harder. So they don't want to screw up their results when they're doing a study. So they're going to mostly do studies on men. So we have to treat women differently. You exercise differently when you eat. What you do on your cycle is all different. Dr. Sarah's going to be covering that. And then December 14th, Dr. Callahan will be talking about surviving stress. That is around December, Christmas time, the new year. People are stressed out. We're going to be going thrive during that time. Okay? Is it a little warm? I'm going to turn this down real quick. Oh, good morning. Okay, the goal for today is really simple. I've now been doing this for over a decade, and what I've learned when working with patients is we can't, if you're like say your neck and headaches, like you're a 2 out of 10, meaning you're really sick. I can't take you to 10 out of 10 in like 1 month. The goal, and this is why I love doing these seminars and working with individuals like yourself, the goal is to raise your standards. So if I were to give you a grade of an F today for your head and neck, you have a lot of headaches, you have a lot of neck pain, you're an F or a D, can we get you to a C today? Can we raise your standards? And this is why I love doing talks is typically the people that come to these talks want to raise their standards when it comes to health. That's you guys. You want to surround yourself with people who want to raise their standards. So our goal today, our only goal, is that when you leave here, your standards are raised when it comes to your head and neck. That is it. You don't have to be perfect. Your pain may not go away. And this is a subject that is near and dear to my heart. This is how I got to chiropractic. I had a terrible neck injury. I played college football. I herniated 2 discs on my neck, and surgery was on the table. I did physical therapy. I took a drug called Vioxx. Some of you has anybody heard of a drug called Vioxx? Yes. You see it on Warrior commercials now because it killed a ton of people. I took that drug for 6 months, and people were injured from it. And thank God I had a chiropractor in my family. It was my uncle who said, hey, try this. Your body can heal, but you got to do different things. You got to raise your standards. And you're going to hear me say this a lot today. There are no cures. There are no quick fixes when it comes to the body. There are only trade-offs. And I wasn't making the right trade-offs. So we're going to know the right trade-offs today. And when we learn these trade-offs, you're going to have it in your hands. Do you want to do, you're going to put the time, energy, effort to trade off. The last thing before we get into the material, your son and your brother, JC, his whole thing is winning, right? So has everybody here heard of Coach JC or no? He owns gyms in town, he's a motivational speaker, he's awesome. I love him because he always brings my energy up. And he's all about winning. Life is about winning. You want to win in your health. Would you guys agree? We want to win. We don't want to be losers. What I've learned about winning is if you want to win, you're going to have to overpay. Expect to overpay. Now, I'm not just saying financially. Overpay with your time, your focus, your energy. It may be money. It may be overpaying with money. But if you want to win in an arena, I want you to be prepared. You may have to do a little more than you expected to do. A little more than you're comfortable doing. And that's what I learned when I healed my neck injury. My uncle laid out, this is the protocol for the next 8 months. And I go, that's a lot. And he goes, well, you want to have a neck surgery or you want to do this? And I go, okay, you put it that way. I think I'll do this because is there a trade-off with having neck surgery? Absolutely there's a trade-off. Big time trade-off. So you get to decide what trade-off you want to make. Okay? All right, so let's go into the anatomy of a headache. And this is where your notes will start. I have the teacher's cheat sheet up here, so if I don't cover anything throughout the workshop, we have it up here. So the 4 tissues that are involved in headaches are muscles, meninges. I'm going to pause there. Is anybody, this is the first time hearing of meninges? I didn't know about these until I went to chiropractic school and I looked at them in anatomy class. So your brain and spinal cord have meninges in between them and your bones. So you don't go from skull right to brain, right? There's a layer of tissue, it's like a saran wrap sac around your brain called your meninges. And you have 3 layers of them. My favorite of the 3 layers is called the dura. Dura is where we get the term durable. Dura means tough mother. Your dura and your meninges, they surround your brain. They also surround your spinal cord and your spine. And when they become irritated, they give you headaches. So that's your meninges. Number 3 are your blood vessels. Does anybody know the headache that's associated with blood vessels? What is it? Migraines. Migraines. So migraines are blood vessel headaches. And then the fourth type of headache is caused by neural tissue. Okay? Neural tissue, you usually have a nerve in your face called your trigeminal nerve. And the top branch, they call it trigeminal 3. There's 3 branches of it. One goes to this part of your face, your jaw. Then one goes up into your eye. This top one, if it gets irritated, it causes what's known as cluster headaches. Has anybody heard of cluster headaches? They're awful. Usually men get them more often, 5 times to 1 men do. But you feel like something's exploding behind your eyeball and your nose will run. And that is from an inflammation of the neural tissue in your face. Okay? So the 4 tissues that we're going to be dealing with today as far as headaches are concerned are muscles, meninges, blood vessels, neural tissue. Your brain has no pain sensors on it. So I can cut your head open and poke your brain and it will not give you a headache. Is everybody with me? If you get a headache, it is coming from one of these 4 tissues and only these 4 tissues. These are what cause headaches. Okay? So let's get into what are the types of headaches. We've already talked about migraines. We have tension headaches, which are caused from muscle tension. Muscles in the back of your skull, the muscles in your neck. Your head is covered in muscles. These headaches usually are like a band, like you're wearing a band around your head. You have migraines, which affect females 3 times to 1. Females are 3 times more likely to get migraines. That's from swelling up blood vessels in your head, and there's not much extra space in your head. So when the blood vessels swell, it gives you a migraine. Now, you do not have a migraine unless you have 2 things that typically come along with it. You need what's called an aura. Has anyone heard of an aura? Yes. That's when you feel one coming on before you get any pain. So I don't have any pain, but I feel like something's going to happen. And photophobia. That means when you have one, you don't like light. It irritates it more, it makes it worse. If you have an aura and photophobia, you have a migraine. If you don't have those, you may have a really bad tension headache or some other type of headache. Is everybody with me? Okay. Third type of headache, hormonal headache. These only affect women. And they happen in your cycle when your estrogen is low and your progesterone is low. That is the follicular phase of your cycle. It's when it starts. It's the very beginning of your menstrual cycle. And I'm going to give you a tool and tools to make sure that if you have those menstrual type headaches, that they're as limited as possible. Okay? And then the 4th type of headache, which we covered, is a cluster headache. Now, for the sake of brevity, does anybody here suffer from cluster headaches? They will be, your nose will run, it'll be excruciating behind your eyeball. Cluster headaches? Okay, so we will cover some things that we need to do for cluster headaches in that case. They're more rare. There is a 5th type of headache called a thunderclap headache, and it happens when you're having a stroke. It's when you get like a brain bleed or something really bad is happening. It's like they say like thunder happens and it's the worst pain you've ever felt in your head. We're not going to cover those today because that happens when you're having a stroke. We're going to be talking about preventing and how you manage these type of headaches. Okay? Okay, so the 4 generators of pain, and forgive me, you can see we're being pretty repetitious with these. I want you guys to understand headaches. The more you know, the more knowledge you have, the more action you can take. Muscle tension can cause headaches. Blood flow can cause headaches. This is a big one. Inflammation causes headaches. And meningeal irritation causes headaches. So I'm going to just pause here for a second and talk about something very important called TBI. Stands for traumatic brain injury. Now, what sport do we think about when we think about TBI? Football. It's really come to the front of our awareness, right? Football players, they're getting TBIs when they age, they're getting Alzheimer's quickly, they're losing their brain function early, they're really bad for you. You typically will get headaches with TBIs, you get dizziness, you can get nausea, you can get memory issues with TBIs. But here's what I want everybody to understand. The most prevalent cases of TBI is not football players. It's car accidents and falls. And the general population cause way more TBIs than football does. So if you've been in a bad car accident, you most likely have gotten a TBI. The number one cause of traumatic brain injury is whiplash. So when this happens, okay, what's happening inside your skull? Your brain is going boom, boom, and it's hitting the meninges and it's hitting the skull. So if you've been in a bad whiplash injury, or you've fallen on your butt and your head has gone back, or you were dumb like me and you were a kid and every time it snowed in Oklahoma, you built ramps and did sleds over ramps and your head went back. I had some TBI and I got the accompanying headaches at time, and I played college football as well. A TBI is going to have all four of those. You're going to have blood flow issues, you're going to have muscle tension, you're going to have inflammation, you're going to have meningeal irritation. Okay? Now we're going to talk about how we're going to combat each of these issues, but if you have a headache, I want you thinking, do I have muscle tension? Am I having a blood flow issue? Am I having inflammation? I'm having meningeal irritation. What's causing my headache? So who has had a headache when you've gotten sick? That is caused from inflammation. You've got inflammation in your body, and that inflammation you evolved to build inflammation. It's amazing. It's not specific. Your body doesn't just send inflammation to one little area where you get sick. If you're sick, it's sending inflammation to your whole body, and it's going to irritate the meninges. It's going to make that area irritated, and that's what's going to give you a headache. You can have a shoulder injury. Has everybody injured their neck or shoulder? That inflammation that you get in that injury is going to travel up and give you a headache. That's why you get a headache from those things. Does everybody track with me? So when you understand the anatomy of a headache and you get one, I want you all to be equipped to go think through this, ask a question, what's causing this? Do I have some inflammation? Do I have muscle tension? Am I having a blood flow issue? Or do I have meningeal irritation? Okay? Last thing I want to say on the blood flow issue is, anybody here get headaches or migraines from drinking caffeine or not getting caffeine? You guys kind of have that? Caffeine is tricky because it's a vasoconstrictor and it's a vasodilator, depending on the person and what time of day you drink it. It's very tricky. So why I bring this up is, you can use caffeine sometimes to help your headaches, or it can bring on a headache. So I just say that to use it with caution. It's different with every different person. But though caffeine helps with blood flow headaches, or it can hurt with blood flow headaches. Everybody with me? Okay. All right. So before we get into specific protocols to deal with headaches and help with headaches, we have to talk about the 5 foundational principles to start with when it comes to headaches. This is the foundation. We need to be getting deep sleep. If you do not get deep sleep, you are not going to heal from a traumatic brain injury. They've documented this. You need deep sleep. If you also are not getting deep sleep, your headaches could be coming from not getting enough sleep. We want to have regular sunlight throughout the day, and then at night we want to avoid blue spectrums of light and only have red light if possible at night. This is real important for headaches, foundationally. We want light throughout the day. Ideally, guys, if you can get up, who here was at the sleep workshop? Anybody come to this? So probably the biggest takeaway that people have been using, that have been telling me it's been working amazing for their sleep, was right when you wake up, get outside and look towards the direction of the sun for 30 minutes. And it can't be through glass. It needs to be direct. And that's what our ancestors did. And wake up when the sun come up, and that's going to set your internal clock immediately. We want to get regular sunlight first thing in the morning if possible. We want to have proper nutrition to reduce inflammation. Remember, one of the causes of headaches is inflammation. We're going to get deeper into the specific foods that cause inflammation. Number 4 and 5, exercise and social connection. They are really important for really important for headaches, because exercise and social connection are the things in life that are gifts to us that make us less stressed. And the majority of people that have headaches have tension headaches, and that comes from stress. So if we want to have a foundation of some type of exercise, some type of social connection, that we reduce stress as much as possible. Okay? What questions do we have on the foundational principles before we start? Yes?
What are examples of blue light?
I'm sorry?
Examples of blue light?
TV, computer screen, phone is blue light. Light bulbs in the house will have blue light spectrum. So I recommend you can get blue light blocking glasses, or when it gets dark outside, try to turn as many lights off inside the house as you can. You can also, people get you can buy red spectrum light bulbs you turn on, but I don't think we quite understand how foreign our life is to our bodies by staying up till 10 o'clock at night in like a well-lit room. That is very weird to our body and our system. That is not natural whatsoever. And the more research that we're getting on this, the more profound the health benefits are to doing this. Okay? So, the reason I dove into this is I'm a very healthy guy. You ask my wife, I'm good at eating, I'm good at exercising. The one area that I'm always working on is my sleep. I've not been a good sleeper since I was a kid. And once I started doing these things, I'm getting much better, deeper sleep. Yes?
What do you consider deep sleep? Like, is the number of hours?
You want to have at least 3 REM cycles. And a REM cycle is between 2.5 to, depending on the person, 2 to 3.5 hours. So I don't want to go too deep but depending on your genetics, less than 1% of the population will do well on 4 hours of sleep, or less than 7 hours of sleep, essentially. 99% of the population needs a minimum of 7 hours. Some people need up to 9 hours. So depending on genetics, you need between 7 and 9 hours, unless you're that genetic freak that does, and they'll know it because they don't need any sleep and they do fine. They don't have any issues with it. But it's I think they're all Navy SEALs. You know what I mean? They're built differently. And they've identified the gene that codes for that. Good questions. What other questions do we have on the foundational principles for headaches? Okay. Everybody here is exercising? Okay. That's, in my experience with patients, tends to be the hardest healthy habit to start. Once they start it though, they love it, they get addicted to it, they never quit. But that's a keystone habit. If you do that, everything else is easier. It's easier to eat good, it's easier to sleep, your mental health is better, it makes all boats rise if you're getting exercise. Pilates?
I heard something very interesting this week from Dr. McCullough. Sitting is the new smoking.
Doesn't matter if you exercise if you sit too much.
Yeah.
Yeah, they found it lowers life expectancy even if you exercise, because it's so bad for your organs and your spine if you sit for 8-9 hours. Thank you for that. Thank you for that. All right, so let's go into the headache prevention and natural treatments. So if you get consistent headaches, this is what we're going to do. I have these in kind of an order, but if I had real bad headaches, I'd be doing all of these. Okay, number 1, this is the new hot supplement. I love it. It's probably one of the most well-studied supplements. It's creatine monohydrate. Okay, and I'm gonna talk a little bit about this, so hang on with me. Okay. Has anybody heard of creatine? What do you typically think of when you think of creatine? When somebody's weightlifting. Is everybody with me? So here's what they know. They know it's a great source of energy. It's going to drive fluid into your muscles. It's going to make you stronger. It's going to make you get more from your exercise. But what they found out in the last decade is that creatine is amazing for your brain. It is unbelievable for your brain, especially for two big groups of people, for females and for people who are sleep deprived. If you have any type of sleep deprivation, you're female, we want to take creatine. Now, I don't take them as much because I don't get headaches, but if I got headaches, I would take this dose. So I'm gonna give you guys the regular dose, and then we're gonna talk about the headache dose. So regular dose, every person should be taking between 5 to 10 grams of creatine a day. The more if you exercise a lot, I would take 10 grams. If you don't exercise really hard, I would take 5 grams of creatine. You need to load it for 5 days for it to work. It's got to saturate your tissues. Is everybody with me? So you don't get any benefit if you take it once and then you skip it for 3 days. You have to take it 5 days in a row. And it doesn't matter what time of day you take it. You don't have to take it with workout or just take it once a day. And if you take it for 5 days, it will saturate your cells.
What's the loading dose?
5 days of at least 5 grams a day. But it doesn't really make it into your system until it's loaded, and it takes 5 days. Okay? Now, the brand we want to use, there's only one good brand, and it's out of Germany, and I'm trying to get it so we can carry it here. It's called CreoPure. They patented the way to make creatine so there's no side effects. The creatine I take the best one I could find. If I take too much, it's going to give me digestive distress, gives you a little bit of diarrhea or watery stools, and it's because of how it's processed. But CreoPure, the way they make it, will not give you any digestive distress. There will be no side effects to it. That's the only brand you want to buy is CreoPure. You can order on Amazon, it comes from Germany. Okay?
Spelling?
You probably can spell it better than I can. It's probably C-R-E-A-P-U-R-E. CreoPure. There's some seats right up front. Okay, now that is 5 to 10 grams. And I think everybody should take that, especially females should take creatine. If you have a headache, and they have done now 3 randomized controlled trials on this. If you have a TBI-like headache, traumatic brain injury related headaches, tension headaches, or migraines, this dose of creatine dropped the frequency of those headaches and the intensity by 90%. It's taking 0.4 grams of creatine per kilogram of body weight. That's the formula. That's a lot of creatine. That's why we want to use the CreoPure because you're going to be dosing a lot.
You hit the button.
Oh, sorry. Thank you. Okay, so I weigh 100 kilograms. I'm 240 pounds. That's around 100 kilograms. I would need to take 40 grams of creatine a day to get that effective dose. They did it in the studies, they did it for 6 months, and after 6 months, their headaches were reduced in frequency by 90%, and their intensity was down by 90%. So if I had a migraine, if I got migraines, I would be doing this without question. Okay? What questions do we have on creatine?
You said it's great for women, like what's a specific impact for women by taking?
Brain health, and the reason women get sick as they age is the loss of muscle mass and bone density. That's what makes aging bad for women compared to men. Men have different issues. We got heart issues, prostate. Women, it's bone density and muscle mass. You guys will live forever if you keep your bone in your muscle. Is everybody with me? Okay. Now, go ahead.
There's several kinds of magnesium. Which is the best?
I'm going to talk about it.
Okay.
Okay. Last thing on creatine, I want to give you a little bit of the science of how this works, but essentially, so you guys understand, it works with your brain's energy system, which is run around ATP and calcium. That's why this works. I don't know some science people, but it works a very specific way in the brain, and that's why it's so effective for headaches.
You said something in calcium, what was
ATP.
ATP?
ATP. Adenosine triphosphate. Okay? It's the main energy system in the body, but specifically the brain. Okay, the next most important is omega-3 fatty acids. Omega-3 fatty acids, fish oil, it is good for immune function. It's good for hormones. It's good for heart health. It's good for all tissues. It's probably, in my opinion, the most important supplement, bar none, for everybody. Specifically, it works for migraine headaches, tension headaches, and hormonal headaches. Okay, this is very important if you get the menstrual headaches, the hormonal headaches. This would be your #1 supplement you would want to take if you get menstrual headaches. Now, we want to take, there's 2 omega-3 fatty acids, DHA and EPA. The one we want to make sure we're getting around a gram per day of is the EPA. So the supplement we take has around 650 milligrams. You would want to take 1 pill one day, 2 pills the next day of our fish oil. But you want to get around a gram of EPA a day. Now, with upping your omega-3 fatty acids, what we want to do in tandem with that is we want to reduce our omega-6 fatty acid intake. The ratio is what's important for inflammation. We want more omega-3s, less omega-6s. Omega-6s are found in seed oils. What are seed oils in? Everything that's processed. Chips, cookies, crackers, anything that's in a box or you get that is processed is going to have seed oils in it, omega-6 acids, and it's going to raise your inflammation. So if you want less migraines, we need to reduce omega-6s while we're supplementing with omega-3s. So they've studied this very closely. I want to give you guys an example. They've done studies where I would say, you just eat whatever you want to eat, and we're going to give you omega-3s. That helps your headaches a little bit. But if I go, I'm going to cut your omega-6 intake for 6 months, and we're going to add omega-3s, that's when they get the miracle headache relief. It's the ratio that's important. It's not just adding the good stuff in, you need to get the omega-6s out. Super important for migraines. Very important for migraines. That's going to reduce inflammation. It's going to help you regulate the blood flow in your brain. What questions do we have on omega-3s?
In the oils, like what's the base? Avocado oil considered the best oil?
So like with cooking with?
Yeah.
Like with cooking, avocado oil's good, olive oil's okay, coconut oil's okay. Butter, tallow, if you're into the animal oils, that's what we use in our family. If possible, we want to try to cook with the animal oils. But if at lower heats, we're doing olive oil. At the higher heats, we're doing avocado oil. Because we don't want to do peanut oil. We don't want to do sunflower, safflower, soybean oil is probably the most prevalent. Soybean oil is in everything. And we were not, do you guys know the background of how we have these oils? It's a crazy story. It's just crazy. They were made for engine lubricants, vegetable oils were. And then they found out, hey, we can add them to food and it extends their shelf life. And it binds them together and it makes them more palatable. But they were kind of not founded for human consumption first. They were made to lubricate the Industrial Revolution, essentially. So we eat them now. The worst, I would say, in my opinion, would be soybean oil. It is in everything. If you look at the charts, when our ingestion of soybean oil went up, autoimmune issues went up, autism went up, everything went up with the addition of soybean oil into our food system, and it's the #1 seed oil you're going to come in contact with. Okay.
And more processed things.
Yes.
Okay.
When you look at the ingredients of like a processed thing, you'll see it listed. The big thing that I hate as well is soybean oil is the #1 oil in salad dressing.
Yeah. Okay.
So anytime you see a salad dressing turned over, there's only you look at that all those salad dressings, there'll be like 4 of them that are olive oil. 99% of the other ones are going to be loaded with soybean oil. Yeah. So go home and look at the back. Soybean oil is what's in mayonnaise. It's what's in mayo. That's why we want to get the vegetables, maybe with grapeseed oil. It's a little bit better oil. Okay. All right, number 3, this is super important, a methylated B complex. B vitamins, we want a broad spectrum B complex. We want all the B vitamins. That's going to help your mitochondria, and that's your energy system. It's going to reduce inflammation. It's going to lower oxidative stress. So, has anybody here smelt something or sensitive like a candle and then got like a headache afterwards? So that is what happening is that's a toxin to you is coming into your body. It's oxidative stress that causes inflammation pretty instantly in your nasal cavity, and that's what gives you the headache. That's how that so you guys know the anatomy of the headache now? That is the process that happens in. B vitamins are excellent for that. B vitamins are going to help you with your oxidative stress. We do want to make sure that you're using our B vitamins but it's got to be a methylated form of the B vitamin. That is extremely important. Here's why that's important. If you get an unmethylated B, so like the old form of the B vitamins, and you have a specific genetic makeup where you have any type of MTHFR gene mutation with over 50% of the population has, it's going to cause headaches. You're gonna take a B vitamin that's gonna raise your homocysteine, which is an inflammatory molecule in your body, and you may take a B vitamin that gives you a headache because it's raising your homocysteine. They've gotta be methylated B vitamins.
Will it say methylated?
It will. It'll say like the cobalamin, however you say it's the long version, it'll say methylated cobalamin.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, questions on B vitamins? Is everybody with me? I feel like we're doing a lot of lecturing and like nerd stuff. You guys are, okay. This is a little nerdy than I like to get, yes.
There's a lot of B vitamins, is it all of them that needs to be methylated?
Yes, it'll have, well, that's the most important one, it's whatever folic acid is the most important one that's methylated, but it'll be the methylated form of all the B vitamins. Okay? All right, coenzyme Q10. You guys may have heard of this. Do you guys know what like people on a certain medication are told to take this? Statins. Any type of cholesterol-lowering medication, they will always tell, well, they didn't used to, but now they'll tell you need to take coenzyme Q10. It is much better though than just taking it if you're on cholesterol-lowering medication. It's a very strong antioxidant. It's really good for your mitochondrial function. These three, the omega-3, the B complex, and the CoQ10, that is known as the headache cocktail. You want to take all three of those if you do get a lot of headaches. That's what they use in studies. Whenever they're studying natural nutraceuticals for headaches, those are the three that they put together because they do similar things.
Say which group?
The 2, 3, and 4, that's the headache cocktail. That's got the most literature, the most data behind it to help with headaches. Okay, number 5 is curcumin. That comes from the turmeric root. It is a strong anti-inflammatory. Why we like curcumin is it brings down the inflammation in your body and you can take it at really high doses. There's some people that take like 8 grams of curcumin. It is an extremely strong anti-inflammatory. Here's how strong it is. If people, like athletes, Olympic athletes that work out real hard, when you work out real hard and you lift weights, for you to get the benefit of that workout, you want some inflammation. Are you guys with me? You want that. That's why if you take Tylenol and ibuprofen, you won't get the full effects of your workout. Because you want inflammation to break down your body so it builds up stronger. What they were finding was athletes that were taking curcumin were not getting the benefits of their exercise. So in really, really high doses, we want to take a more like daily dose of this if you're getting headaches. I don't recommend taking this in like the extreme high doses. It's too strong and anti-inflammatory. Okay? And then the last one is magnesium. Magnesium relaxes your muscles, which can really help with tension headaches. But the real reason I have magnesium on this list is that if you have a magnesium deficiency, which typically comes from eating too much simple sugars, one of the side effects of a magnesium deficiency is headaches. So your headache could be caused from a deficiency in magnesium. Excess of sugar, which is because sugar and magnesium have very similar chemical makeups, and whenever we used to do a lot of blood testing, magnesium was the #1 thing we caught people that were lacking in. #2 was B vitamins. Those were the 2 most commonly deficient vitamins or minerals. Magnesium is a mineral.
The brain freeze that people get, that's kind of a headache kind of thing.
Uh-huh.
Is that a whole different thing than what we're talking about here?
You know, I did not research brain freezes for this. I think where that comes from is from the coldness in your sinuses that irritates. Well, we know it's going to irritate either the meninges, it's probably what it's irritating. Because it's not irritating the brain, because the brain has no sensory. So, good question.
But you know how to get rid of that though, right?
How do you get rid of brain freeze?
Like you stick your tongue to the roof of your mouth.
Oh, cool.
And it stops the headache.
We're going to be doing the tongue on the roof of the mouth today. That's part of our, you read ahead with the notes. Okay. So, to take you guys back through this list, if you knew your headache was coming from traumatic brain injury, like you know it started after a car wreck or after a fall, creatine is a must in a high dose. There's no real history of that. Omega-3, B complex, and CoQ10 are the 3 strongest. And then curcumin is just good for inflammation. Magnesium is just a really good supplement because a lot of people are deficient in it and it could be causing your headache. Okay? Yes?
So if you're getting, if you're sensitive to candles or perfume smells, all those things, if you have a lot of heat in your body, you won't be as sensitive?
We just know it's going to be really good for you because you have an issue with oxidation in your body. You are not clearing off free radicals in those tissues. So we want to boost that process as much as possible. We know you have a sensitivity in that area, and this is going to be helpful. I'm not saying it's going to cure it, but that's a sign you need more. You need more of this to help with your oxidative stress.
Okay.
Yes.
I've heard that your natural supplements, your body will start kind of resisting, kind of kicking them off after a while.
You know, I don't think they really. I know what you're talking about. I've kind of heard rumors
I took
about that.
turmeric, and it worked for a while, and then it just stopped.
So that is one where I completely agree with that. And it's the same mechanism, like, I don't know if you guys have ever taken like a Tylenol or an ibuprofen. That quickly doesn't affect you the same way it doesn't. So I think it's more along the lines of anti-inflammatory supplements and medications that your body builds a resistance to. I would put some agreement on you with that. You may want to think about upping the dose a little bit and see if you get the same effect. That's what I would try with that. But I think you're onto something with that. But the real answer is I don't know completely. But I know it's the same thing for ibuprofen, Tylenol, aspirin. And that's why those medications are really recommended against for headaches, is because you quickly will need more of them, other than the side effects you have for them. But you're going to need more of them. Okay. You guys may already know this. We're 5% of the world's population. We take 75% of the world's drugs. 40% of those drugs are for headaches, neck pain, and back pain. So it's a large swath of medications taken for headaches, neck pain, and back pain.
As Americans?
For Americans.
Okay.
Yeah, for Americans. Other cultures, you go to China, they're doing Chinese remedies, they're doing herbs, we're going to get into it, we do acupuncture, which is very good for headaches. And that brings us into the next thing. The other, forgive me guys. Oh boy. I'm on a roll here. So, what we just covered with these, these supplements are more to get to the root cause of your headaches, deeper into your body's chemistry. These 3 supplements are really just for pain relief. You're in the middle of a headache and you need some relief. These are the 3 most proven things to help that are natural with headaches. They're going to be peppermint oil, eucalyptus or menthol oil, which work in the same mechanism. They're not exactly the same, but they're very similar. And then acupuncture. Now, what I'm saying is these things aren't going to cure or get to the root cause of why you continually have them. But say you're in a pinch, you're on vacation, or you just want help with a headache, these are going to be the most proven natural ways to help you alleviate that headache. Yes?
I use doTERRA oils, and sometimes I'll wake up if I've slept where I shouldn't have. I'll wake up with it doesn't really feel like a full-blown headache, but I have this oil called Past Tense from doTERRA. Knocks it out like that.
We got that at the house too. I think it's mostly made up of peppermint oil. Is the number one ingredient in it.
It's great. In my shoulders, and it's
It's
awesome.
good stuff. Like relaxes the muscles. That's what peppermint does. It relieves tension. The eucalyptus and menthol oil, it opens up nasal passageways. And then the acupuncture, they're studying this at Harvard. They don't really know how it works or why it works, but when you hit certain sensory areas, it gets rid of pain. It just is, again, it doesn't get to the root cause, but it will stop pain. They've done this with veterans. They can just do it in your ear and it can get rid of a headache. So, yeah.
So you would have the acupuncture. Where would you do the acupuncture?
I don't know a lot about it, but my friends who do, they say you can do it all over your face and your head, but the ear is one of the most powerful areas to just do it quickly and get rid of your pain.
I have a TENS unit that has an acupuncture setting, and I would, because my ankle's fused, and if I do too much, I just stick that on my ankle and I just do the acupuncture setting on it.
Cool.
I have some colleagues that they're trained to put in specific areas. Like
Is it mostly the ear?
Yes.
Is it? So I feel like I've heard this is kind of a shortcut in action. They can do other areas, but you can get like 80% of the work done through the ear.
Right.
Yep. Yes.
CBD, THC.
That's all kind of new in my research. Well, some of you from the 60s, you know it works. you know THC works, get rid of pain. So we know it works. You have cells have CBD and THC receptors. It works for pain. It works great for pain. I would put that in this category. It's not going to get to the root cause of your issue. We have a CBD cream here we love. But what I found with CBD, I use it in conjunction with, it's got menthol oil in our cream. With the CBD, we found it amplifies. Sometimes they'll put it with I think it's called ostrich oil, which is a menthol, a deep blue.
Is it emu?
Emu, I'm sorry, emu oil, which is a deep blue menthol oil, and when it's paired with CBD, it seems to work better.
Do you recommend it?
I do, for pain relief. Do you know what I mean? These things are, if you got a terrible headache,
Whatever.
no,
works.
do what works if it's non-toxic. That's my opinion, especially if you need to sleep. These are just, I want to have you guys have natural tools to be able to, it's better than taking an ibuprofen,
Okay.
which is toxic for your liver, for your gut.
Okay. Tiger balm.
I think that's a menthol cream. It's menthol, yeah. So menthol, it's amazing. Menthol, eucalyptus are amazing. They're pain relievers. They block substance P and glutamate, so they help trick your body, your skin into being out of pain. Yep. Good questions, guys. What other questions do we have before we move on? Lidocaine. I do. I have friends who are chiropractors that do lidocaine injections in the trigger points. I think on the spectrum of medications, it's way on the safer, it's almost identical to saline, so it's very mild. But I don't know enough to give you a recommendation on it or not.
Well, I use 4% patches. They work. I just didn't know if it was toxic or not.
I don't know, to be honest with you.
Isn't it toxic load for your kidneys?
I don't know. I just have a lot of friends who say, on the spectrum, lidocaine, 1 to 10, lidocaine's a 1 or a 2. It's a really mild medication. Yeah. Yes.
The petroleum oil and eucalyptus, topically or by smell? You just smell it to help your headaches, or you apply it?
You could do both, but I find oils to work better when they go on the skin because they are absorbed into the dermis. They're going to get deeper in, and then, you can inhale drugs and they go into your blood system. And the same thing with oils, you inhale that. But we want to get it into the cells, so I would rub it on and smell it. Good question. All right. So we're going to transition from headaches to neck. And this is a really amazing transition because if you're having a headache, a lot of your headaches are being caused by your neck. This is something that's not talked a lot about in our medical community, that I would say the number one cause of headaches is some type of issue with the neck. And the 3 keys to a healthy neck is we want to make sure we have good structural alignment. We want to have segmental stability, so we want to have stability throughout the neck. And we want to have proper mobility. That means your ability to move your neck. We want all 3 things. So I'm going to give you guys an example of having one of these too much and not the other 2 can cause problems. Some of the worst necks I've seen are from yoga instructors. They can move their neck like Gumby. It is extremely mobile, but they will tell you, I feel tight up towards my skull. It will feel tight even though they have too much mobility, they don't have enough segmental stability, and they have really poor structural alignment. We need to try to shoot to have all 3. Guys, when I healed my herniated disc, my uncle, he was on all 3 of these. We have to have good structural alignment, we've got to have stability, and we've got to have mobility. And we're going to work on all 3 of these today. Now, for all of you patients, when we look at structural alignment from front to back, what do we want to see with your head? So if you're looking at me from here, what do we want to see? Do we want to see this? We want to see this. We want to see this. We want to see symmetry, straight up and down. Now I have, one of my eyes is a little bit lower than the other, so I kind of have a head tilt I have to fight. So I have exercises I have to do because how my eyes are located, my structural alignment wants to go this way, and that's going to give me neck pain and a headache. That's not good for my neck. So we want to be straight. Now from the side, what would we want to see with structural alignment? So we don't want this. You guys, this is really bad. We don't want forward head posture. And then if you could see inside my neck, what do you want to see? Curve. That is huge. The curve is so important, arc of life. That is probably the biggest structural component when it comes to neck health, is that we're supposed to have a lordotic curve in the neck. So important. Okay? So, how do we know if we have neck damage? And we're going to go over the 6 obvious signs you have neck damage, and then the 9 not so obvious signs. And this is really important because if we know we have neck damage and then we heal that neck damage, your health is going to go through the roof, guys. You want to be sick, have a neck problem. I want you guys to think about somebody who's had a traumatic neck injury. They're paralyzed from the neck down. How healthy are they? The life expectancy goes down to like 10 years after you have a neck injury. So much of your neurology, your brain signals have to make it through the neck. So if you've got a neck problem and you help it, you heal it, you're going to see benefits throughout your entire body. So, number 1 sign of neck damage, obviously, your neck feels stiff. Specifically, if your neck feels stiff up towards your skull, that's a sign you have neck damage. Number 2, neck pain. Pretty obvious, right, guys? Does your neck hurt? Number 3, history of neck trauma. Here's what we've heard. I've had a garage door come down on my head. My brother has suplexed me into the ground. I've fallen into a dock when I've been water skiing. I was in a car wreck and my head hit the wind. Like, I've heard it all. Like, your head and neck can be injured in so many ways, but if you know you've had neck trauma, something has happened and your neck hurt afterwards, you probably have a neck problem. Forward head posture, which we talked about, is a big sign of a neck problem. The head going forward. Why this is so bad? I want you guys to visualize, if I hold a bowling ball right here, how long could I do that for? Long? Now, let's say I tried to hold it out here. Maybe less than a minute, I'm going to be able to hold that. That's the same thing. Think of all the stress that puts on your neck and shoulders with your head being forward. Radiating pain. So numbness and tingling in the hands, your shoulders hurt, your arm hurts, radiating up into your head. I got a little pain here, and then it goes up. Anytime it's traveling from your neck, that's a sign of neck damage. And then we have patients every week that tell us when we meet them, my head just feels heavy. Has anybody had that sensation? Just feels kind of heavy. That's a sign of neck issues and neck damage. The not so obvious signs of neck damage. This is probably the biggest. Is I got a little pain in my neck. My neck just hurts a little bit, but my head is killing me. And why that happens is a lot of times when there's nerve damage, you feel it more at the end of the nerve, not at the beginning of the nerve. Is everybody with me? So I got my neck hurts a little bit to here, but it's killing me behind my eyeball. SCM, tightness and tenderness. So your SCM is, you guys see this muscle here on me, this sternocleidomastoid? I want everybody to feel yours, like pinch it between your fingers. Identify it. If it's tender or if you pinch it, you feel it radiate pain up into your ear, that means you have neck damage because that muscle really shouldn't be activated if you have a healthy neck. It's usually activated if you've had an injured neck. So if that neck muscle is tight or tender or is painful. Number 3 is we talked about this already today, guys, if you sit a lot, you just don't move a lot. Sitting is really bad for your neck. It's the new smoking. So you just sit, you don't move a lot. Number 4, you wake up with a kink in your neck. This is huge. That means you have an underlying neck issue. It is not normal to go to bed and then wake up with a sore neck. You really have to have an unhealthy neck to begin with for that to happen. Number 5 is jaw popping, clicking, or pain in your jaw. 9 times out of 10, If you have jaw issues, it's tied into neck tightness as well. The only time it's not is say like you work with a boxer who's actually been hit in the jaw, like that's a jaw issue, but more often than not, if you have jaw issues, it's coming from your neck or it's a sign of neck tightness or neck damage. Ear fullness, does anybody know what I'm talking about? Feels like something's in your ear or ear ringing is closely tied to having a neck problem. We already talked about this. You meet somebody and they're walking around like this, a head tilt. And you'll ask them like, why is your head tilted? Do you know what they're gonna say to you? My head's not tilted. Yes. Connor, we picked this up on you today. I was taking Connor's x-rays today and he's standing, he's got neck pain. His head's tilted, strongly head tilted. Shoulder tension. Does anybody feel like they're wearing their shoulders like their earrings? So people will say like, oh, my shoulder's killing me. And they'll point to this region. Your shoulder is out here. Is everybody with me? This is where you get shoulder pain. This is neck pain. That's neck pain. Those are neck muscles that come down into your shoulder blade. So if you got a lot of shoulder tension in those knots back there, that's a sign of neck issues. And then lastly is you can't turn to check your blind spot, or it's difficult. The upper neck is responsible for most of your rotation. You should keep rotation throughout your whole life. Is everybody with me? As you age, you should not, you may lose a little bit of this, you may lose some of this, but we should keep that rotation the entirety of our life. Okay? What questions do we have about the signs of neck pain? Was anybody here checking off a lot of these, or a couple of them?
Yeah.
You come to the right place.
SCM, which is?
It comes to, feel this point here, that your collarbone, that comes up and attaches underneath your ear. That's the SCM muscle. And you should be able to squeeze it, like I'm squeezing mine pretty hard, and not have a ton of pain. After I was in a car accident a couple years ago, and I would squeeze it, and it would shoot pain up and give me a headache immediately. Good question.
So you said used to, so then there's hope first, if you just said we come to the right place.
That's what we're working on today. That's what the rest of the workshop is today. Okay. Guys, this is how we're going to fix it. And we're going to now, before we get into the interactive portion of today, does anybody have any questions on the content or material, or have any boxes that are vacant that we haven't filled out and need help with?
The 3 keys to health neck?
Healthy neck are structural alignment,
Oh, yeah.
segmental stability, and mobility. Let me grab a chair briefly, guys.
What about the not so obvious? Looks like mine.
Yeah, that's right.
Guys. I'll put that slide up for you.
Is down the head thing, and then the SCM tightness, that's not so obvious.
It's these right here. Okay. All right, everybody, sit up in your seat. Good posture, please. We're going to start with neck mobility. We're going to do this from a seated position. Now, the keys to neck mobility. Everybody listen to me. We are going to do these slowly and controlled. That is very important. And now what I love about neck mobility is you don't have to do a ton of this. We're just doing 3 of these in each direction. So we're going to go through, we're going to start with all the normal ranges of motion. So I want you to watch me first. This is not an upper back exercise. This is not a body. We don't want to be moving our body around. This is a neck exercise. So I'm going to brace my core, and I'm going to slowly look up as far as I can, down as far as I can. Now when we do the neck mobility, and when we do all these exercises, we want to have our tongue in the roof of our mouth and our jaw slightly dropped. Everybody go ahead and do that. Breathe through our nose, tongue up in the roof of your mouth, mouth closed. Your jaw should naturally feel like it's dropping slightly. And we're going to go through 3 repetitions slowly. Everybody ready? And begin. hear some popping or crackling, it's okay. As long as there's no pain involved, that's okay. Everybody with me? Anybody have any questions about that exercise? Good? Ready to move on? Okay. The tongue in the roof of our mouth. This may be a little difficult for some of us. We're going to do now that was forward flexion and extension. We're going to do lateral flexion now. I want to keep my head neutral. I don't want to be turning it. And I'm going to laterally flex slowly. Don't move our upper body. Go ahead and do 3 of those. Okay? Take it slow. You don't have to do a lot. Good. Good. If you have limited range of motion, some of you I can see your looks. These are things you need to work on every day. You can regain range of motion. You can make this better. Okay, it takes some trade-off. It takes some time and repetition. And then the last of the cardinal motions is rotation. So go ahead, tongue in the roof of your mouth, drop your jaw, breathe through your nose. We're going to turn 3 times. Does anybody need help with those 6 directions of movement? Feel like they're doing it wrong?
So the flex is this, the lateral is this,
Lateral is this.
and then rotation.
Rotation is the last. Okay? Those were the easy ones. So if you had it, it's okay. The next couple are more difficult, but they're normal ranges of motion, but these are the ones we lose first. These are called our translation ranges of motion. So I want you guys to watch me. I'm going to translate my head. Tongue in the roof of my mouth. One side is way harder for me. This is easy. This is very difficult. So it's like I'm trying to get my ear flat up against an imaginary wall. So I'm going to watch you guys, and I'm going to try not to laugh, okay? So tongue in the roof of your mouth, head neutral. Try to slide your head, your ear over. If it's difficult, later on we can put our shoulder up against a wall.
So drop your shoulders, because what I noticed is I'm tensioning my shoulders. Drop
You
your
want to
shoulders.
try to have them relaxed if possible.
Okay.
Good. If you're having a difficult time with these, this is very good. You've come to this workshop. These are normal ranges of motion. So when you lose this, you're going to start building degeneration and arthritis in your neck. Yeah, right. If you have degeneration or arthritis, we want to do these to stop it. Okay. A little bit. Now, again, if you guys feel, does anybody feel like they're hitting a wall, like with their head, like they can't do it? You want to put your body up against the wall and try to go. This is so much easier to go into a wall, and then this way I would do it into the wall. Okay, so if that's difficult, but you should be able to do it in a neutral position. Last range of motion is forward and backwards translation. Okay, now the most important, if we want to get really good, forward is not hard. We do forward all day. That's what this is here. It's the backwards that is difficult for people. Now, when we go backwards, I don't want to see that. You're not taking your head backwards. You're taking your rib cage backwards. We want to lock this in. I'm going to go. Just 3. You don't have to do a lot of it. Forward and backwards. That's what's great about neck mobility. You don't have to do a ton. Good. Does anybody feel a lot of of tightness when they go back.
The good news, lining kind of.
It's already getting, maybe stimulate a little bit of a headache. Okay? Now, if we have x-rays on you, I know a lot of you, we have x-rays on. We'll give you more specific exercises, but 99 out of 100 people, the most important exercise we give you is the head going backwards. It's just so prevalent that the head's going forward. Okay? But we want to do these ranges of motion because they're normal. What questions do we have on that mobility? Anything, guys? We got one more, last one. This is called neck CARS. CARS, C-A-R-S, stands for concentric, or I don't know what it stands for. I don't want to make something up here. I think it stands for controlled articular rotations, C-A-R. You can do it for any joint, but for the neck, I'm going to walk you through CARS. You don't have to do a lot. What I'm going to do is I'm going to start with my chin next to my collarbone here down. And I'm gonna trace my jaw along my collarbone. Once I get past my collarbone, I'm gonna pretend like I've got a pencil coming out of my nose. And I'm gonna make as big a circle with that pencil as I can till I get to my collarbone. Then we're bring my chin back down to center, and then I'm gonna go back the way I came. And you only gotta do 3. Okay? Take your time. This is about control. It's not about doing it quickly and trying to get mobility. Why CARS work, it's you're controlling the muscles through the range of motion. Okay? Tongue in the roof of your mouth. Breathe through your nose, chin to your collarbone. And follow that collarbone. Once you get past it, make a biggest circle with your nose as you can. Take your time. Then once you get to the other side, bring your chin back to your collarbone to center. Go back the way you came. Good job, guys. Take your time, take it slow.
Would that be considered one, both directions, one time?
Correct, that'd be 1 each side. You would do 3 total all the way through. If this is causing a headache for anybody doing this mobility, you know for sure your headaches are coming from your neck. That is the root cause of your headaches. That's no. We want to discontinue the exercise. It's a Saturday. I'm not taking anybody to the hospital. Okay, we got football to watch this afternoon. Breathe. So, and I want to putting the tongue on the roof of your mouth and dropping your jaw and breathing through your nose. I cannot exaggerate how important that is for you. To rebuild that system of nasal breathing, it's going to help strengthen your diaphragm. It's going to change the structure of your face and your upper neck. Okay.
Is there a video of this anywhere?
You can Google neck CARS,
Okay.
and it's there's a ton of YouTube videos on neck CARS. Yep. Yes.
Is it the one with the like throat kind of shapes?
Yes. I mean, I wouldn't say it's normal, but it's like a normal variation of your throat kind of moving around your neck.
Kind of quick.
Yes. Yeah. So tongue on the roof of your mouth, that's going to stretch all that throat tissue with the tongue on the roof of your mouth. Okay, good question. Okay,
That actually feels really good.
guys, you've just mobilized your neck. That is everything you would need to do to gain range of motion in your neck, right there. You've done it.
Every time you do your warm-up.
You can do it here, use these tools here. Okay. But that is, you go to a physical therapist, that they're going to show you nothing better than what I just showed you for mobilization. And you've got to do that though. Nobody can do that for you. Now when I adjust you, I can help you increase your range of motion, but I can't help you to have the ability to control your own range of motion. That's so important, is your ability to control those ranges of motion. Okay? Any questions before we move on to stability and structure? Yes?
I felt like I was moving my shoulders a lot.
It's
normal.
So that's pretty normal, especially if you do have lost some of that range of motion. You're gonna want to do that. So what you can do is you can stabilize your body by putting like the shoulder up against a wall. That can be really helpful, bracing your core. But until you get a little more range of motion in your neck, it's gonna be a little difficult. Yeah.
Any of those exercises have hurt your neck or something like that, what was?
It's okay. As long as there's no pain involved. If you get popping and a lot of pain, that means we have too much submental mobility and we want to build some stability in our neck before we start moving it along. Okay? Does anybody have a lot of pain, sharp stabbing pain? You have a little bit of that, a little bit. So slow it down, see if you can work through it is the best way to do that. And then if you still have it, discontinue that exercise till we build some stability with some other things. Okay?
So can you do these throughout the day?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Don't have to, you want to shoot for at least once a day.
Once a day would be a great recommendation.
But like when you're sitting there watching TV or something.
So when I do these is I do them before my workout. So if you have something before your Pilates class or something that you know you do daily. I used to do these when I was healing my neck when I would brush my teeth at night. It's always good to anchor these exercises to something that you're already doing daily anyways. That was helpful for me. I'm not a very organized person. I'm kind of scatterbrained. It just helped me a lot. Some of you here I know are disciplined. You guys are not like Dr. Maynard. You guys are more disciplined, so you won't have an issue. Yeah. Okay, you guys ready to move on to stability? I'm gonna start with talking on something everybody should have here if you are a patient, is the spinal molding roll. I know this looks like a simple piece of equipment for the neck. The firmness and the size of this were studied greatly to get the perfect size and firmness, okay? And we want to try to use this every night with no pillow for a minimum of 30 minutes, if you can. If you have any type of headache or neck pain, and then up to 4 hours, you're getting a lot of benefit. If you can sleep all night on this, AA plus 100. Now, why this is so important is if you have a history of neck trauma or a lot of neck dysfunction, there could be some ligament damage in your neck, and there's only one way to heal ligaments in the body. It's very hard. The only way to heal ligaments is to shorten the tissue that the ligament is connected to and keep it shortened for a really long time frame. So like if you're laying on this for 4 hours, you have shortened all the ligaments in your neck and it allows them to heal while you're sleeping. That's why this is so important. This is really important if you were doing those neck exercises and you felt like clicking, or you may have like some hypermobility. I find this to be even more important with people that have a lot of mobility in their neck. Like those yoga teachers, I was like, you've got to get on this. We've got to heal the ligaments in your neck that you damaged from doing weird yoga poses, or you may have been in a car accident or whiplash. So this is super important piece of equipment. So we're going to start with that. That's important for structural stability, is stabilizing your ligaments. The other thing we're going to touch on is called an alar ligament exercise for ligament stability. Now, does anybody here know they have alar ligament damage? We caught it on your x-rays and we gave you alar ligament exercises. Anybody here show of hands? Okay, good. Alar ligament damage. Alar ligaments are they're called check ligaments. They're up at the top of your neck. They're easily damaged and they're tied with headaches. Okay? Has anybody here moved their head too quick and gotten a headache or dizzy, or you feel like you get typically there's a large correlation that I have torn both of mine playing football. Wrestlers, or I don't want to, we see this a lot in women that have, I hate to say this, but have been abused by their spouse or their husband or some, things of that nature, or you've been in a car wreck and your head hit something. They're very frail ligaments and they tear, and what happens is then the top of your neck is unstable when you move it. So when you move your head and skull around, it's shifting on top of your neck and it puts pressure on your brainstem. And it gives you headaches, it can give you vestibular symptoms like you're dizzy, and it's tied with a lot of those issues. So you can't, if it's torn like with me, you can't fix a torn alar ligament. Now they are doing new surgeries where they're injecting it with stem cells. You do not want somebody going near your brainstem with a needle. It's right, so don't do that. Okay? It's just like the medical profession to go like, let's stick a needle in it, and like I get what they're trying to do, but you can do an exercise to heal it. I'm going to show it to you. It's called an alar ligament exercise. Everybody watch me closely. And if you have the headaches, I would highly recommend you do this exercise. If you don't get headaches, not as important, guys, okay? So for those of you that get consistent headaches, or you have vestibular issues or any type of dizziness, or has anybody got like where like you've done like a flip in the pool and you kind of feel lost? You know that? Does everybody know what I'm talking about? So I have that. So if I do like a flip in the pool, I feel really weird, and it's from my alar ligament instability. I'm gonna build a wall with my arm. I'm gonna build a wall and I'm gonna put it right up to my face. And I want my face neutral. And I'm gonna try to turn my face into my arm, but I don't want my face to turn. So I'm turning into an immovable object, which is my arm. Does that make sense, guys? You can do it with your hand too. See, like I'm trying to turn my face into my hand, but my face is staying straight. That is how you build all these occipital muscles to help build up stability, where you don't have the alar. You'll still have the damage, but you won't present with it. Okay? So we're not translating, we're not pushing. The only motion we're trying to do is rotate. I'm trying to rotate my face. So everybody put your hand on your face and just try to turn. See how I'm shaking? Can everybody see that? That's how hard we want to try to turn. But don't, if your face is turning, see how that's happening? You're doing it wrong. You've got to build an immovable wall with either your hand or your arm. Okay? So we're going to do one each side, and the key with this is we want to hold for 10 seconds. Okay? Everybody ready? And begin. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, now we're going to balance the other side. And begin. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good.
Just down in the roof of the mouth and a little
Yes, not as important, but I would recommend that. Okay? Guys, any questions about alar ligament? That can be a game changer for people that have headaches and vestibular issues. That's going to build upper cervical stability, which is very difficult to do.
So you can do it how many times?
I have it on the sheet. It's 10 reps for 10-second holds. Yes?
Is that something that can get real sore, like a little bit for quite a while?
You can get real sore. You said you can get real sore.
With like having a weld nut on for quite a while?
Do you snap your welding nut down with you pull it down with your hand? So you're saying,
So just kind of holding that up all day for a while.
so you're saying that when you do the exercise it causes soreness? Or
No, just while I'm using a weld nut.
well then that's probably not that could be your alar ligament. Are you asking if it's your alar ligament or
If that's what gets sore.
do you have headaches? I would say that's probably your occipital triangle muscles that are getting sore, not your alar ligament. When you were doing that exercise, did it cause a little bit of soreness? Slightly? Okay. It's probably, you have what's called the occipital triangle. It's a triangle of muscles that cause a lot of headaches, and that's probably what's getting sore with the welding helmet. Does that answer your question?
Yeah.
Okay. But it's not I don't think it's the alar ligament that's sore. Okay? Yes? It's better from doing that exercise. So this can be a game changer with people with headaches if you have alar ligament instability. Okay? Awesome. All right. Let's move on to our prolordotic bands. Give me one moment, guys. Can you guys do me a favor, and we are gonna move the chairs away, and we want a big open area. kind of get around, guys, get together. I'm gonna give you the thicker bands. We don't have enough bands for everybody, so we're gonna need to share a little bit. The red, green is really hard. Red are a little lighter, and then blue is like a medium. So if you guys wouldn't mind, just a couple people come and grab. I just need one of these left over. Go ahead and grab one. Those are a little harder, so just if you got some strength. I'm just gonna keep one so I can demonstrate, okay? So, has anybody seen individuals at a clinic using these? Some of you may be using this prolordotic band. Okay. It's just such a cool invention because it stabilizes and strengthens the neck, which you guys remember is one of the keys, stabilization, and it improves structural alignment. It pulls a curve in at the same time. So it's doing two things. Two of the three keys are being affected by this. Now, I want to make sure we're doing this correctly, and this may be a little bit different than how you were told if you do this, okay? This is the proper way we want to try to do it. And if we have your x-rays, we can tell you there's a specific way you can use it. You can pull down, you can pull straight, or you can pull up. Does anybody here been told a direction to use this with? What direction was yours? Up? Yours was straight? Straight out. Does anybody else? Up, straight. So if you've been told that, I want you to do what you've been told based on your x-rays. For everybody else, we're going to do the safest pull, which is the straight pull. So you're just going to go straight. What I'm going to do is I'm going to push my arms out to the side, lock out. Sorry, first thing we're going to do is brace our core, actually. When I walk through the clinic, the thing I see people doing wrong when they're doing this is they're doing this. See, my upper back is all tilted back. We want to brace core. We are not going to move our bodies. So we're going to build our abs while we're doing this. So I'm going to brace my core, straighten my arms to the side, come forward, look back. I'm going to hold for 10 seconds. Then relax. I'm going to do that 20 times. 10, you can start with 10 because it can cause some soreness, but 10 to 20 times, okay? So brace our core, lock out the arms, pull forward, look back. Chin up, head going back. Good. Any questions? I'm going to be walking around critiquing you.
I do have a question. You said do it after you're adjusted to set it.
It's going to stabilize the spine, it's going to build the muscles, and it's going to get a curve in your neck, which is going to help with the structural alignment that we want.
Okay.
So those two things. It's not really going to help with mobility. This is not a mobility tool.
Okay.
Yep. Right, guys?
I do this at home. Does somebody want to use it? Because I do it at home.
Let me watch you first.
Oh, okay.
So keys is tight core, go to the side first. Lock out your arms straight to the side first.
You want me to do side first too?
Yeah. Side first, lock out, then go forward and look up. Not bad. That looks good. Good, Dixie. Good. Forward, look up. There you go. Good job. Good. Okay. Go ahead and go out to the side for me. Straight out. Let's go straight out to the side. There you go. Now bring your head to a more neutral position. There you go. Now go forward and look up. That was a great rep. Good job.
So should I be going out?
You want to go sideways first and lock out.
It's the harder.
Like this. Yep.
I can do it. I was watching you go forward.
The green is hard, guys. That's good. I'm just going around watching everybody. Pretty good. Wait to look up. Yeah, so go forward, then look up. That's good. Good job.
There's a camera.
What happened? Here you're up.
I'm getting pulled muscle, it's like really high.
red band?
Yeah.
Walk it off. Walk it
Actually,
off.
that's actually a very high red band.
Is it?
Yes.
And look up.
Oh.
Perfect form. Then go tight cord, go forward with your hands. Now look up. Chin back, head back.
They just
Great
made it
job.
go
Good
up.
rest for 10 seconds.
Yeah, but it felt kind of good. And I didn't know I learned how to do it better just now. Cause I do this every time.
So what should we be using? Red or blue?
Red typically for females until it gets too easy, then you progress up to a blue. And then green is really difficult.
We got a spot for the greens here.
Good? Does anybody
You can
need?
see what I'm doing and I can't.
How we doing over here?
You start this way, you start this way.
Out. In. Mine
So
goes
when
out.
do you put your head back?
As
After
you're
you go
bringing your
when
feet
you go-
together.
That's a tough one to go.
When it's forward.
This one's pulling these muscles over here.
After you do 10 like this, what do you do with your arms?
Relax, just relax. Okay, then you'll reload by going straight out to the side, locking out. Go forward. Don't look up quite yet. Go forward first. Then look up. There you go. Great work.
Yeah, it's a little, that was.
Straight out to the side. Lock out. Push it out. Take them forward. Now look up. There you go. Good job. Let's do that one more time. I want to position, you want it to start right in the middle of your neck. Go out to the side first, out to the side, walk out. Go straight forward with your arms now. Wait a little bit. Go a little higher with these arms. You want it straight, and now look up. Lift your chin. That's a good rep. Feel that in your neck. You would hold that for 10 seconds.
Way to go, man.
Try the green one.
Actually,
Hey, you wanna know?
you can feel
You got
it. If you did like.
Hey, you can do it.
Then look up. Lift your chin. That is it. Guys, before we move on, any questions about the Pro Lordotic Band?
So should we install those here?
We have these here.
I know, but
Yep. And you're going home with one of these.
I'm like,
Mr. Backwards neck. Okay, so Pro Lordotic Band, we're gonna do 10 reps, 10-second holds. No, I'm sorry. 10-second holds for 10 to 20 reps. Something happened here. I got a misprint out there.
it should take about 5 minutes, right?
Yep, right around 5 minutes.
Okay, you can.
Okay,
And how many times a day should we do that?
one time.
One time.
This is, so when I healed my herniated disc, if I was in, like, I had bad headaches or bad neck, I did everything twice a day. That's the only way healing takes time, that's just the way it does, but you can speed it up with a little more repetition.
That actually makes my neck feel
You felt some relief with that?
Yeah.
Cool. Okay. Last neck exercise, then we're gonna move into the shoulders. We're gonna do a forward head posture hold. Okay? All you need is a wall. The key with this is we're not looking up. I'm translating what you guys have already done. Remember that we did the translations? I'm gonna translate it back into the wall and push my head into the wall for 10 seconds. I love this one because you can do it in your car against the headrest. And it helps if your doc has told you you have this forward head posture. It's going to strengthen and bring your fingers back over your shoulders.
Does it matter where your feet are?
You just want,
They don't have to be up against the wall.
you want your back against the wall is the most important part. Yep. So everybody grab a wall space. And feel that. Yep. So tongue in the roof of your mouth, breathing through your nose, jaw drops, and push your head back into the wall, hold for 10 seconds. Yeah, you'll push resistance into it. Good. This is real important for you.
I know, is it spinal holding?
I'm sorry?
Is it the spinal holding?
Which one is it up there?
It is the FHP exercise. FHP stands for forward head posture or forward head position.
Well, the
10
last
rep-
one you did was the supra or advanced, right? Is this one spinal holding like below it?
Spinal molding roll is the roll I talked about. I didn't do them in the order that are up on the.
What do you got structure up there for then?
I have a question. I have the molding roll, I have 2 of them. So on your neck,
Large.
the large one.
Small for the low back.
And you do that while you're sleeping.
So Nick, the only thing I'd have to do is I would for you get your heels back a little more. Yep. You got it. And bring your head back. Push, tuck your chin a little bit more. That's it. Feel that? When you tuck your chin, you'll feel a little more. That looks good, Cliff.
Feels pretty good.
Feels good. So as we age, as we get older, this is what happens, right? We don't want that to happen. The best way to do it is to get our head back. Okay? This is an anti-aging exercise. Any questions on the forward head posture exercise? Yes.
Just straight hands up, in and out.
No, just straight back. So your chin will feel a little tight. Try to keep it relaxed. Yes, arms by your side. Yeah, hit your feet back. There you go. Come back up. Feel that. Now push that in. Tuck your chin more. Tuck your chin more. Feel that. That's it.
Don't do it. Don't.
You can bring it back. Bring the shoulder. That's what we want to know. And chin tucks. Okay? All right, guys. The big mistake I'm seeing with the forward head posture exercise is nobody wants to do the double chin. We don't want to make the double chin. That's important. We want to have that double chin. Okay?
If you hold your head straight, you won't do that.
All right, last exercise. And this is new equipment that is available for everybody here who is a practice member. Are these bands here? Yeah, so we have 3 different areas. We got 7 pounds, 10 pounds, and then the 15 and 20 pounds. Okay? These are pretty hard, so we're going to use the majority of these 2 bands. And what we're going to do is what we find clinically with individuals that have chronic neck pain and headaches is they have a lot of shoulder involvement. Okay? And why that's bad is we'll start trying to correct their neck. They'll be doing everything for their neck, and we don't address the shoulders, and it's like they're hitting a wall. They're kind of, forget my language, kind of pissing in the wind a little bit, if that makes sense. So if we can strengthen and reset our shoulders back in position, it's going to allow for the space for the head to come back and the neck to be where it's supposed to be. Is everybody with me?
Yes.
So what we have is IYTA row. IYTA row. You do these, you're going to have bulletproof shoulders and shoulder blades. Everybody watch me first. This is an I. Everybody see I look like an I, the letter I. Straight up. Nice and slow. I'm bracing my core. The progression we're going to do is 8, 6, 4 reps. So my first set, I'm going to do 8 reps of this. Okay? Then the next set I would do 6, and then the last set I would do 4. Okay? That is an I. Y, obviously. Here, see I make the Y. I'm squeezing my shoulder blades. Okay? T, you guys can see I make the letter T. Good. one is A. That's probably the hardest letter, but you see how it kind of makes an A. My arms are down. You can do this two ways. I want you to do it the way you feel it the most. My palms can be facing the wall, or for the A, my palms can be facing away from the wall. I feel it more with my palms going back. Okay?
So are you feeling it in your neck?
I feel all my shoulder
Your
blades.
shoulder?
Yeah, shoulder blades.
Alright.
So when I do it this way, I kind of feel it in my shoulder blades, but when I turn my hands down, I really feel it in my back and shoulder blades.
Okay.
And then the last thing we're going to do is a row. This is a row. I'm squeezing my shoulder blades back behind me. IYTA row. 3 sets. First set 8 of everything. Second set 6. Last set 4.
And where did we do this?
So we go
Figure it out at home.
Right. Do it here at the
Okay,
clinic.
and then-
Whenever you're here, you want to work on this, come over
Okay.
here and go through this.
Okay.
Okay?
So do you keep,
This will be kept up at all times.
but do you have this
We need that on
set
the
up?
wall.
So you bring up a good point. We're going to make a picture that just says IYTA row on it.
Okay.
And then we're gonna have some low back. We're gonna have some low back exercises as well. That you can come over here. There'll be a nice big space with a TV going. You can do all these exercises.
So do you know what the ring is that we use in Pilates? Like we do this, like with the ring. So that would be, or
That'd be
do
like the A,
rowing
yep.
machine.
Yeah.
So
Because I have
you
to
could
Those
do
are all
that.
good.
Like the stretchy bands,
Uh-huh.
I have those, I've been.
So you can. It really to get the most out of this, it needs to be a band connected to something in front of you.
Well, then there's also this one too,
Yeah.
where it's like, you need to find this rule.
So I want everybody to try these. Let's go ahead and hit these. Okay?